Committee, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the start of Customs Week and to the beginning of your first year at Bryn Mawr. We would like to thank all those faculty, staff, and students who have helped to organize this year's Customs program, and we'd also like to give a special thank you to the other fantastic members of the Customs Committee, Archana Kaku, Karen Leitner, Kelly Meyer, Evan Rivers, Emma Rosenblum, and Bryn Mawr, as well as our faculty advisor, Dean Hayek, without whom none of this would be possible. Working on this year's Customs program with you has been an amazing and educational experience, and it's been a privilege for us to contribute to one of the core traditions of Bryn Mawr. And last, but certainly not least, we'd like to take this time to thank you, the parents. Your continual love and support has guided your daughters to this next phase in their lives, and we know from experience that throughout the next 4 years, that support will be more crucial than ever.
The committee has been looking forward to the arrival of the class of 2016 since we first began the Customs planning process in January of this year. Following weeks of applications and interviews, we narrowed it down to 67 of the class of 2015's finest. In accordance with Bryn Mawr's tradition of self-governance, these women have given their time and energy in order to be the best resources possible. They bring with them a strong sense of enthusiasm, dedication, and responsibility, which are the hallmarks of a true Bryn Mawr student. We know that you are all strong, independent women, and that you are perfectly capable of making it through this tough transition into college with the skills that brought you so far. But we also know that a little help goes a long way, and that's exactly what your Customs people are here for. They are your first line of defense when problems arise, and they are your friends and allies no matter what.
Customs is all about creating a community of learners, and we encourage you to participate as much as possible in these first few days. Customs Week not only provides essential information about college life, but also gives new students a chance to make connections that will last the next 4 years. Beyond this first week, however, know that in the year ahead, you will have unlimited opportunities to pursue all your interests, either academic, athletic, or artistic. We encourage you to not just stick to what you know, but to use your time here to push beyond your comfort zone and try something new, whether it's archery, improv, or a brand new language. For Bryn Mawr, like everything else, you get out what you put into it. But although you're in for a lot of work, be sure to have fun too. Go to your Customs teas, enjoy that new art exhibit in Philly, walk to Hope's Cookies for a late night snack, or just catch a movie with your friends. Looking back, those are the experiences that will come to mind when you think of your years at Bryn Mawr.
We'll end today with some advice handed down from Customs head class. 1, even though you may think they're crazy now, listen to your seniors. We didn't realize how much sense they made until now. They truly provide words of wisdom. Also, they love to hang out with first years because it can give them some youthful energy for those late nights writing their thesis. So be kind to your seniors, and it doesn't hurt to give them some candy. Okay, it might just be us that wants candy.
And 2, since we know all of you probably work too hard, we want you all to take time to relax. Take every opportunity you can to get out of your room and breathe fresh air. Yes, that does mean you have to go outside, but believe us, you'll love it.
Customs Week at times can be intense, but it is definitely worth it. We wish you all a wonderful year here at Bryn Mawr, and I know I speak on behalf of all the Customs people when we say that we're very glad that you're here, and are eager to get to know you and help with any questions or problems that you may have. Welcome to the Bryn Mawr family.
It is now our pleasure to introduce to you the incomparable president of the Bryn Mawr College Self-Government Association and an amazing member of the Customs Committee, Bryn Mawr.
Hello everyone, welcome to Bryn Mawr. My name is Bryn Mawr, and I'm the president of the Self-Government Association for the upcoming school year. As a senior, it is so rewarding to have the opportunity to work with the incoming class of 2016 as they begin their journeys as martyrs. One of the most wonderful things about Bryn Mawr is its community. The collaboration between students, families, administration, faculty, staff, and alumni create a network like no other. This community fosters commitment and passion for each of us. It is a place where you are encouraged and supported as an individual with valid and important contributions. It is a place where you are loved and respected simply for being yourself. I'm so thankful to have had the opportunity to participate and gain from all that Bryn Mawr has to offer, and I'm proud to call it home. So welcome to the community, class of Cherish It 2016. Before you know it, you will be standing here as a senior with more love for Bryn Mawr than you know what to do with. And with that, I would now like to introduce Jane McAuliffe, the 8th president of Bryn Mawr College.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to welcome the class of 2016 and our transfer students and our guest students. And it's an equally great pleasure to welcome their families and friends. We like this configuration in good heart. The families and friends are here, and the new students are ranged before you as the queens of the day that they really are. Now, I know that Kirsty and Sal and Sarah have already thanked the Customs Committee and many of the people who have worked to make this Customs Week possible, make this day possible. But I'd like to particularly single out again for recognition Dean Chuck Ada, who does so much to pull all of this together. Thank you, Chuck. By way of introducing you to Bryn Mawr, I'd like to introduce you to each other. And so I'm going to give you a few statistics about the group whom we are welcoming today. 370 of you, the class of 2016, are enrolling in college for the first time. You were selected from a record applicant pool of 2,626. Congratulations. 11 of you are enrolling as McBride Scholars. That's our program for students of non-traditional age. That's a large intake of McBride Scholars, and we're really delighted to have so many with us this year. 11 of you are coming to Bryn Mawr as part of 3C. This is our transfer program from the community college called the Community College Connection. A great new effort on the part of Bryn Mawr and a wonderful new addition to our class. Congratulations to all the McBrides and all the C3 students. You are transferring to Bryn Mawr from other schools. This is a smart move. You won't regret it, I promise you. And one of the things that's so wonderful about the class that you see ranged before you is you come from 36 states in the District of Columbia and from 34 foreign countries. From everywhere from Australia to Zimbabwe. Some years I read off the list of all the countries. I won't do that this year, but I will point out a few. There are many of you from China, from Germany, from Ireland, from Macedonia, from Nepal, from Romania, and from many other countries as well. In welcoming you to the Bryn Mawr community, we are also welcoming your families. We really do embark on this adventure together. And I think all of us hope that your work here will be a source of continuing family interest and pleasure. Together, you and your families have chosen a college with a distinguished tradition of undergraduate and graduate education, and a practice of turning out strong, independent women who have blazed trails in many fields. Alumni include the first women presidents of Harvard University and the University of Chicago, the first director of the Congressional Budget Office, one of the few women to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, 7 winners of the MacArthur so-called Genius Awards, pioneers in the treatment of breast cancer and the development of nanotechnology, the woman who is known as the leading screen legend of the 20th century, and founders of banks and of rural medical clinics. There's an extraordinary range of achievement in many fields that is represented among the Bryn Mawr alumni. And I know that you're going to follow in their footsteps. So someday, a future president of Bryn Mawr is going to be at this podium bragging about you. Let me talk very briefly about some recent recognition, of which I'm quite pleased. All of us know that ranking colleges has become a big business, and that ranking systems ranging from the serious to the absurd continue to proliferate. I don't pay much attention to most of them, but one that was released on Monday means something to me because it measures or it ranks colleges on metrics upon which Bryn Mawr wants to be measured. Measures or metrics that matter to Bryn Mawr. This one is published by the Washington Monthly, a respected journal of politics and government, and it bases its rankings of national universities and of liberal arts colleges on three factors. The first is social mobility. This assesses the number of lower income students who earn degrees from an institution. The second metric is research and includes such things as the number of our graduates who go on to secure a PhD, the number of our faculty who receive major research grants. And the third is service, which includes the number of alumni, for example, who go on to serve in the Peace Corps, or the number of service hours completed by our students. Not surprisingly, Bryn Mawr has done well in this ranking by the Washington Monthly during the close on 10 years that it's been published. But when this year's rankings came out earlier this week, Bryn Mawr topped the list as the best in the nation, the best liberal arts college in the country. Today for you is both a beginning and a culmination. You've been thinking about this day for a very long time. Your college quest has occupied many, many hours. You've been haunted by application deadlines, perhaps nagged a bit by anxious parents, nodding heads on that, and you've chalked up more than a few travel miles as you did your college tours. That's all behind you now. Now comes the good part. Now really comes the moment when you leave school and take charge of your adult intellectual lives. You have some very exciting years in front of you. Years that I suspect almost everyone in this audience would like to repeat. And you've chosen to live those years in a liberal arts college. Why is that choice significant? Lots of people think that colleges and universities are very much like each other. You take courses, you spend time in libraries and labs, you write papers, you perform experiments, you get grades. So what's different about a liberal arts college? There are lots of ways to answer that. I'm going to mention just a few today. I like to think of the liberal arts and sciences, education in the liberal arts and sciences, in the shape of a T. You lay a broad foundation by familiarizing yourself with the major areas of human knowing in the sciences, humanities, and social sciences. That's the broad crossbar of your T. And then you dive deeply into one particular area of concentration of study, one particular discipline, whether it's physics or Russian, sociology, psychology, whatever. Think of that in some ways as the kind of content access of your education. But as you lay that foundation, you'll simultaneously be operating on another axis, what I call the skills axis. You will be developing cross-cutting habits of thought. You'll learn to think for yourself, to read or to hear something and not take it at face value, to, as they say these days, to interrogate it, to ask the questions that let you get behind the statements and see how they are structured and supported. You'll learn to solve problems and to work collaboratively with each other. You'll learn to be comfortable with complexity and ambiguity. You'll learn to talk and to write. I mean, you'll learn how to stand up and present a clear and persuasive argument. And you'll learn how to put that argument on paper or on a computer screen. This skill set will create what I like to call your intellectual insurance against obsolescence. It is a multi-dimensional education anchored in a broad, multidisciplinary base. It is really all about learning how to learn so that you're going to be prepared to tackle questions in the years to come that have yet to be imagined and that have certainly yet to be asked. In a recent essay, Nan Cohane, Nan is the former president of both Smith and then Duke, she borrowed a wonderful image from the 17th century French philosopher, Michele de Montaigne. She said that Montaigne liked to imagine his mind as a library in a tower, a place to which he could retreat, filled with all the fascinating things that he had learned. And Nan commented, "The most valuable and attractive people we know are those who have rich and interesting intellectual furniture in these spaces, rather than a void between their ears." As you embark upon this new beginning, you are entering a community of scholars. Bryn Mawr is blessed with an extraordinary faculty. Your professors, as even that research metric in the ranking I just mentioned, are at the forefront of their respective fields. But they've chosen to teach in a liberal arts college because they want to be with students. They want to be part of your educational journey. They want to be your mentors. Look around. Look at each other. These are your teachers too. You'll have a lot of fun together, but you'll also learn a lot from each other. You'll get interested in why your roommate is taking a course in robotics, or why your friend down the hall is traveling down to UPenn several days a week to take a course in sign language. So, as the newest members of this community of scholars, I welcome you. I welcome you to a very exciting journey, and I hope that it's off to a great start. Thank you. Now your Dean of Admissions, the person who made all this happen, Laurie Koehler.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bryn Mawr College. My name is Laurie Koehler and I had the good fortune of reading your admissions applications. I can say with confidence that every single one of you earned your place at this remarkable institution. Your accomplishments humbled all of us, and I know some of our admissions staff are in the audience, humbled all of us who had the privilege of getting to know you through the process. Your exceptional academics are a given, but in addition, your activities beyond the classroom are particularly impressive. For example, half of you were involved in competitive athletics, and 2/3 of you were active in the arts before you came here. Enough of you were in environmental clubs and the math club to ensure that statistically, there will be at least 1 or 2 of you on each hall who will make sure that you and your peers recycle and that you have help with your math homework. Hard workers, more than 1/4 of you had part-time jobs before arriving at Bryn Mawr. And not surprisingly, if you think about our Washington Monthly ranking and the kinds of students we attract, nearly 3/4 of you volunteered your time and energy serving your communities. Indeed, you're an extraordinary group, and I offer you my heartfelt congratulations. I'd like to take a moment to offer you, our new martyrs, a piece of unsolicited advice, as I'm prone to do on occasion. 35 years ago, a highly influential poet and public intellectual named Adrienne Rich, who very sadly passed away this past March, delivered a convocation address just up the road to students enrolled at Douglas College, what was then the largest public women's college in the country. The climate in the United States and around the world at that time was very different, and Rich spent much of her time challenging the students to refuse to settle for a second-class education. Fortunately, here in the United States and in many places around the world, much has changed. I know from reading your essays and from the world-class college you've selected to attend that you don't need to hear this same charge. However, Rich said something that I hope you'll carry with you when you leave here today, as it still holds significance. She said, "You cannot afford to think of being here to receive an education. You will do much better to think of being here to claim one." You cannot afford to think of being here to receive an education. You will do much better to think of being here to claim one. Claiming it versus receiving it. Think about the difference in claiming your education versus receiving it. You were selected for admission because beyond all of your academic and extracurricular activities, we saw the spark in you that every Bryn Mawr College woman possesses. The spark that leads her to actively pursue every possible learning opportunity. The spark that compels martyrs to actively claim their education rather than passively receive it. So what does this mean in practical terms? It means going to class prepared to engage, showing up for your professor's office hours, getting involved in original research, meeting with your deans, studying abroad, pursuing an internship or a service opportunity, taking part in a 360-degree course,